Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello.
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. As it says there, how the devil are you? How are you feeling the morning after the night before? Well, we were just talking before we came live, and at the end of the day, it was 2-2 against probably what should have been a Champions League club this season. One of the top teams in Europe. Whether they still are or not is questionable, but we'd have probably taken that at the start of the game. But, it is what it is. We didn't lose. That's the main thing. Man United. It's back to league action this weekend. And if you're wondering, we're not going to be joined by Brad this evening. And if you are wondering and you want to join in playing the game Where's Brad? Well, here's a clue. This is on TV tonight, ITV4, England women versus North Macedonia women. And you know Brad's love for North Macedonia. So I think you might find that he's off watching the old ITV4 tonight. But as they say, it is back, or as I just said, back to the Premier League this weekend, and it's a small matter of this. And talking of Brad not being able to join us, neither tonight can Craig. So I've traded him in for a younger model. Got rid of Piers Morgan and I brought in Ben Shepherd. Josh, hello, welcome back, young man. How the devil are you?
I'm all right, Chris. How are you, pal? It's Friday, so feeling a bit better.
Good. James, good evening, Everton fan. How the devil are you? I am very well, thank you. We tried to get Josh back in last night, and I don't know. We had a few gremlins, shall we say, in the system. But it's nice to have you back and seeing that you survived your wedding and the honeymoon, and you're back in normality with the rest of us mere mortals now.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Back to, like you say, back to reality, back to normality. So here we go.
Well, this weekend, like I say, we're actually back to the Premier League. We are playing on Sunday, and we're away at the Amex Stadium in Brighton against Brighton. It's a 2 p.m. kickoff, and it's not on Sky or BT or Amazon. It might be on other thread, shall we say, but it's Sunday, and I think this is better. Well, first of all, sorry, it is on Radio Leicester. If you are in the county boundaries, if outside, you can always pick it up on ltsc.com/radio, which is free of charge. But I think it's a good idea that the FA have done this season. Brad, I'm going to call you Brad then, Josh. The fact that whoever plays on Thursday, you don't now play on a Saturday at all. It's Sunday or Monday, whether you're on telly.
It makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it's fair. Last season, I don't think we had one Saturday 3:00 kickoff, did we? So
no.
That's the thing. It's one of them, like you say, mate. It's I suppose it's one of the things where you play European football. 9 times out of 10 you're going to be playing on a Sunday or the following Monday. But like I say, it's a good thing, especially with the amount of injuries we had, last season and over this pre-season. Hopefully, it's going to do us a bit of a favour. Fingers crossed.
Well, fingers crossed. Terry Fuller, sir, I'm surprised at you. Do they still have that nudist beach in Brighton? I tell you what, mate, let us know. I tell you what, the beach is rather pebbly down there. I don't think I want to be nude on it at all. But be careful where you end up with your pebbles, as they say. And yes, there is still the nudist beach at Poole if anybody asks. So at Studland, allegedly, I wouldn't know, but allegedly there is one at Studland in Poole. So we should have a Leicester Till I Die day out there, Brad.
Yeah, Jolly Boys outing like off an horse. It's funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, me naked on the beach, mate. The tide wouldn't get in. But disappointing last night. We were talking before we came live, but it wasn't the world's worst situation. It felt like a defeat, but not as bad as sort of Man United, who did have a defeat at the last minute. But I thought overall, and I say it was Napoli we were playing here, that the performance I thought was better than, say, the Wolves and the Norwich games.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange one. I think when you say, disappointed, it sounds a bit. I suppose it sounds a bit silly, a 2-2 draw with Napoli. But I think you're right. It was disappointing in the manner that it came about. Being 2-0 up with 25 minutes to go, something like that. I thought, we knew that they'd send a bit of a barrage at our own goal, and we'd have to sort of try and see it out a bit. But what it meant to be, But good learning curve from, I guess, Napoli, as we said before we came on air, mate. They're a top team. The way they knocked the ball about, the press was relentless. Didn't really give us much time on the ball. I thought, again, it's one of them where so far this season, we've in games we've played well in patches. Little 5-10 minutes here or there. But we ain't really put together a solid 90-minute performance, which hopefully we can do this Sunday with a decent result against Brighton.
Yeah. I mean, I think as well, when you look at what's the word I'm looking for? When you look at the changes that we made, and I kind of thought there was going to be changes because the likes of Jamie Vardy can't play 90 minutes Monday, Thursday, Sunday. Weekend, midweek, weekend at his age. So there was going to be changes, but the changes that were made, and there was some, 4 new signings started yesterday, and yet we managed a 2-2 draw with Naples. For me, the big thing that it's sending out is the strength of the squad, and if anybody's watching that, we're still a team that's in transition. We're still a team that's growing. And we've just been, you could have said we should have been 3-0 up against one of the best teams in Europe, and they didn't beat us.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're saying, it's another, I suppose, like you said, you look at the strength and depth we had on the bench as well last night and some of the quality we had on there, but it was nice to see. And then the starting 11 for me, I thought it was a good setup by Brendan. The new signings look like they're bedding in pretty well. I thought Samari first half he was a little bit hit and miss, and the second half he really came into his own. I was surprised to see Maddison come on for him, to be honest with you, because I thought he would having quite a big impact for us in the second half. But yeah, he's looking good, mate. I think hopefully now we'll maybe see a bit more of the new lad, especially Daka. I thought he didn't have a great game last night. He took his goal well, that unfortunately got disallowed. But he didn't half put himself about. You can't knock his effort at all. He's trying to run in behind and he's tracking back and stuff. So yeah, it looks good, mate. So far, from the new signing, so far so good.
I mean, if that performance with that team turn up on Sunday, we should really. There's no reason why we should lose against Brighton.
You'd like to think so, but it's
yes. Oh yes,
it'd be typical of us, wouldn't it? Really. I'm not underestimating these at all. These are. I think for the last couple of seasons they've shown. Last season I suppose I think that new XG stat everybody's on about. Their XG was apparently through the roof. They just weren't taking enough chances. They were creating loads, but I think the signs were there that they're a really good footballing side. I think their manager's got on playing some fantastic football, and so far this season it looks like their plans are sort of coming to fruition really. So hopefully, like I say, mate, hopefully they don't turn up on Sunday against us, because I think it's going to be a tough game for us.
Well, it just kind of shows this season that I really do know absolutely nothing about football, because I said West Ham were punching above the weight last season, and that they'll go back down to towards the bottom relegation battle where they usually are. It's about time Brighton went down, because they're always just staying up. And Graham Potter, he's he's been linked with all these top jobs. What's he doing? And yet Brighton are there, and I know we're only 4 games in, etc. But they've won 3, they're sitting in 6, they're 3 more points than us. 1, 3, lost 1. We'll come on to the figures in a minute, but it's a good start for Brighton.
Cracking start for them, mate. They play some really good football as well, and they seem to adapt well against certain other teams. I remember, it was away there last season, and I think that was the infamous game where I said if we'd win, I'd shave my beard off, and lo and behold, Marty of all people scored more or less a last minute winner. So, and we didn't play great that game. So, I think it's going to be one of them games where it's going to be interesting to see how we actually set out, because there's certain teams where Brendan doesn't really learn his lesson. I think, as we've seen so far this season, West Ham definitely one of them sides. They always seem to be against us. I think the way Brighton play and the way obviously we play, I think hopefully it's going to be a bit of a, not too nerve-wracking, but I can see it being a bit of an end-to-end game. I can see there being plenty of chances really. They seem to create. I think they'll push on, and it may allow us to sort of play our counter-attacking football. So I can see it being a decent game, really can.
I think, as I always say with Leicester, it is just depending which Leicester turn up. Because people that I obviously don't get to the games like I used to, but they were saying people that had got to the King Power to watch the Man City game, that although we lost, it was probably our best game of the season up to that point. So it is all a matter of which Leicester turn up. You mentioned last season and the infamous beard shaving game. I mean, it was 2-1. We did do the double over them because we got the 3-0 win early. So, and they are a team looking new. We've actually played them 8 times in the Premier League. They've yet to beat us. I mean, but when it comes to Leicester and you say that, it's always the kiss of death. If any team's got a striker that's kind of 10 years past his best and has never scored, stick them on against Leicester, because they're going to score.
Exactly, mate. And like you say, we seem to be we can be a bit of a charity case when it comes to, like you say, strikers who ain't scored for a year or so. That they turned up and scored against. I think, if I can remember rightly, I think in the 2-1 win, was it Lallana scored for them? I think so. Yeah. I don't think he'd scored for a while. So
No.
it was one of them things, mate, where it wouldn't surprise me if, like you say, a player for them who ain't scored for a couple of seasons pops up with a goal. It just be typical Leicester, really, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Scott, good evening to you. How the devil are you? I'm well, and I believe Josh is as well. Talking of strikers, Terry said here, we've absolutely no chance of winning. Leicester's highly talented goal scorer is still suspended. I promised myself this season that I'm not going to get into become as anti-Perez as I was last term. He scored the goal yesterday, and you've got to be in the right position at the right time to score the goal. He did that. I still don't think, well, he's not a winger, and I just something that Brendan likes about him. But I really, really hope that, because Barnes looked good yesterday. He got a goal, got an assist.
He did. He had a cracking. Yeah, he did have a cracking. He took his goal really well as well.
Yes, yeah. I thought he'd taken it too far, to be honest with you. But again, shows what I know. But I think and I'm a bit worried about getting too excited about Lookman, because I got a bit like that with Under this time last season, and we know that 4 games into the season it peaked and was on the way down. But Fulham were very happy with Lookman until he got injured. He was going to be their player of the season, and I think if you've got Lookman and Barnes, and you're swapping them over all the time, because obviously they're both right-footed, so they can both play either side. It's just going to sort of, I think, it's a great combination, that, and I hope we see it.
Fingers crossed, mate. I think going on to the you mentioned Jose Perez. I've backed him for ever since he's came in, but I think towards the end of last season, my patience had really worn thin with him. I thought last night, first 25 minutes or so, he had a decent game. Took his goal well, put himself about a bit. But again, going off point here a bit, to be honest with you, but I think he's the sort of player where Brendan really seems to like him. So he potentially does a lot in training that Brendan likes. So
yeah,
I agree with Lookman, but I think we're probably going to see a lot more Perez this season, purely for the fact that Brendan likes to stick him out on the right wing. For me, he's not a right winger at all.
No.
I think, like I say, Barnes is automatic starter, really. He's had a decent start to the season as well. As you say, last night he played really well, got the assist and took his goal well. So, yeah, it'd be nice to see a bit more of Lookman. I think at the minute he's sort of, I think for quite a while, I think we're going to sort of see him as maybe as an impact sub. He's got the pace, he's got the trickery as well. I think, although probably see him start against Millwall in midweek, so I'd be interested to see how he gets on there. He's good options to have, mate. Really good options to have. It's nice to see that we've got that strength coming off the bench, where if we're a goal down, you think, the lads that come on can potentially do something for us.
Yeah. I think with I think it was Rob Tanner I was speaking to from the Athletic, who said Perez is probably better than the fans think, but not as good as Rodgers thinks. And I think that kind of probably sums him up. Yeah. But apparently he's very good he's got the right attitude in training. And I know my son said to me, he said, it's all right having the right attitude in training. And it's like with Mendy. I mean, he's not going to get a game in any form till January. He's accepted it, apparently, and it's going to work. And, he couldn't be included because of all this. You've got to have so many homegrown players and what have you. I think that's possibly why Childress in instead of him. But, if actually, my son said to me, he said, so what if they've got a good attitude in training? It's when they get on the pitch. And I said, yeah, but if you look at Gray's attitude when he was with us, that's why he didn't get on, but he brought that attitude into the game, didn't he? So I suppose it's a difficult one, and that's why Brendan gets paid the big bucks.
Exactly, it's him that's making the decisions in it. So I guess all we can do is stick by him. He's definitely got a lot more right. He got a lot more right than he has wrong. In his three or so years that he's been with us. So he's got to trust him and just stick with it.
Sweet. The other day I was doing a joke thing, because of course Celtic went from being 2-0 up to losing 4-2, and I think I may have just, slightly messaged Chris Sutton about that. And I'm thinking, like, how long do I keep this going? Because to me, it was like only like yesterday. But like you say, it's 3 years ago. Time flies when you're having fun. But going into this game, Brighton, like we said, have got the 3 wins, but they've not actually played. And I am including Arsenal in this at the moment, that they've not actually played anybody really big. Everton was probably out of all of those, the highest placed club that they've played so far. You look at ourselves. I know the Spurs game was last season, but we played Man City, we played West Ham. Going into this, on the 2 games we've seen, and I know we didn't win either, but the performances in the Napoli and the Man City are the performances I wanted to see. And maybe this now is just going to kickstart our season, because the wins, Norwich and Wolves, weren't the best performances.
Yeah, I think, like you say, I think you can, from the performance, you can, from the last couple of games, like you say, with Man City and Napoli, you can take a lot from it. I think defensively we've been a lot better over the last couple of games, like we were saying beforehand, that all our man of match really against Man City was our defence. We defended pretty stoutly. Still a few grey areas where I think we can improve. But yeah, I think. Like I say, I think the performances for me have been better over the last couple of games. I think Napoli last night was a massive test for us. I think a lot of people are sort of forgetting that they're a big European side. They've like you said before, Chris. They've played Champions League football, and they're no strangers to European football at all. So I think their experience really showed last night as well. Playing to the ref. Getting little soft fouls. They just played the game, and I think that's how you got to be clever with it.
Don't start me on the ref. Whatever you do, don't start me on the ref.
But yeah, Sunday. I think it's going to be a really tough game. But I think it's going to be a game where we are going to need to put in a good shift over the 90 minutes. Again, Brighton are a team where I know last season, as I said, their XG and the goals expected to score weren't great, but it just showed they do create a lot of chances. So I think we're going to need to be all over the pitch from front to back. We're going to need to be on our game literally from the first kick.
Looking at it there, the chances per match, they're one we're 0.5. Average goals scored per match, again 1.25 to our 1. And this was the thing, the average goals conceded, they're better than us as well. So this season, we're looking at a team on paper that is better than us. But can you see, it is early yet, and I'm just thinking, is Brighton in a false position? And I think they possibly are because of the games they've played. But they're up there.
Definitely, mate, and it's going to be. I think whoever you play this season, really. I think our games have shown that. I don't think any game's really going to be too easy. Even against Norwich, we won, but we weren't great. I thought they weren't brilliant, but I thought they definitely did. They did enough to deserve at least a point. It's going to be tricky whoever you play, mate. It really is, and I think it's going to be quite a tight Premier League this season. I think there'll be one team that maybe finishes bottom and has a big drop off in points. I think the points gap will be pretty big between them and 19th. But other than that, I can see it being really, really tight. And I think some of the results we've seen so far have not been shocking as such, but it goes to show that it's going to be a league where this season anybody can beat anybody. Which again, he's in. Which makes even more so Sunday a massive game for us. So you want to. The Man City game was sort of a game where you sort of hoping rather than expectation that you're going to get anything out of it. I thought we were unlucky against Man City. I thought we deserved something from it. It's going to be tough, mate. It's really going to be tough. And Brighton, it's not a team that I'd want to play coming off the back of a defeat in the league, but it's again, like you say, it's a team where you look at it and think, right, we can really get something here, but we've just got to work for it.
Yeah. Scott, I think you are trying to wind me up here. Chris, would you like the ref from last night to be a Premier League referee? Scott, mate, you don't. If I had my bleeper here, I'd reply to that. But he was sponsored by Clinton's, I think, the number of cards he gave out. He's also asking about any news on Evans. I don't think Evans is going to be fit, from what I'm just reading between the lines on his injury. And I can see Soyuncu coming back in. I mean, we've still got Justin, and I forget James Justin. He's been out that long to come back, and we've got obviously Fofana as well. So we certainly squad-wise going forward, I suppose it's as confident as I felt about any season.
Yeah, it seems to be just a reoccurring thing for me to say about injuries, to be honest with you, because obviously we suffer that much. I think Johnny Evans for me is absolutely vital to whoever's playing centre back with him. To be honest, I think his experience definitely puts whoever his partner is really at ease. Soyuncu at the minute obviously ain't in the greatest of form. I think it's confidence just took a really big knock. So hopefully Evans' injury is not as bad and he comes back sooner rather than later. But having said that, you don't want to rush him back because then he's injured and he's out again for a while. But like you say, we've got a few players to come back. But like I say, the squad it's looking really good at the minute. Injury wise, like you say, Justin's come back, so it's going to be interesting to see when they come back. Who Rodgers who he's going to drop to become these lads. It's going to be interesting to see.
And I hate saying these things because, like I say, it does sort of. I'm almost tempting fate, but just looking at some of the stats here, Jamie Vardy has scored 5 goals and assisted in 3 in 8 Premier League games against Brighton. So hopefully he can carry that on. We have unbeaten in all 8 Premier League meetings, as we said earlier. The longest run against any side in the Premier League. And we beat them 3 times last season, twice in the league and, of course, in the FA Cup as well, on what was a bit of a chilly night. And like I said, I did say Brighton punching above the weight at the moment, but they've won 3 league fixtures. It's the best start ever at this stage in the Premier League. But this time last season, it took them 19 games to win 3. Here, they've done it in 4. Am I right to be a little bit worried?
I think so, mate, because I am. Like I said, it seems to really be clicking at the right time for them. I don't really see them being in any danger of relegation at all. I can see them being comfortably mid-table. They've got the players to do it. As I say, they create a lot of chances, and so far this season, they seem to be taking a lot more than what they were last season. They've got some dangerous players. I think Mopé is a massive player for them as well up front. He's a player that I know we were looking at a few seasons ago, and he's a player that you sort of looking back, you sort of think, we maybe could have done with him. I think, I'd say you're right to be worried, but it's a game that could go either way for me. It really could.
Well, I tell you what, if I can get this to work, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, he says. Where are we? Let me just try and find it. Here we go. Oh, it's Mark Wallington's birthday today. So happy birthday for those of us of a certain age. We'll remember Mark. Terry, yes, Chris and Josh, we've just had 2 good performances, but this year's big test, can we be consistent? That is it, isn't it? And we weren't last season. I mean, let's just be honest. Terry's made the point there. It was the one thing we weren't last season, and that was consistent.
Yeah, I think, to be fair, mate, I think it's going to be the same this season. I think it'll be a season where we win a couple, we draw, we lose again, maybe, then we win again. And I think, like I say, last season, it was one of them where, with COVID, you couldn't really tell what was going to happen. No fans in the ground. I think that made a big impact, especially it helped away teams. I think we've seen a lot more away victories than we've ever have in previous seasons. So, apart from a few teams, I can see most of the league being fairly inconsistent, and I think unfortunately we are going to be one of them teams. But I think we'll have enough in us to have a decent season, definitely.
Yeah, and I think we should maybe have a minute silence here for Brad, because England have gone 1-0 up against North Macedonian women. So, Brad, if you're watching, don't get too upset, mate. Andrew Medhurst, good evening, sir. How the devil are you? The sooner Fofana is back, the better. Cags is shocking at the moment. It's the last couple of games he's not been too bad. I mean, the Man City goal, it bounced off him, which was a bit unfortunate. But he is going through a bad period. But I think, because I questioned whether we should drop him, and give him a bit of a break. Brendan's played him, but as Craig said, I'll give him credit for this, pointing this out, he's moved Cags over to the right. Which is obviously normally on the left. So he's got to think maybe more about the basics, and he's cutting out the Cruyff turns, the Brazilian step overs on the edge of the box, and that's going to be a good thing.
I think it just needs. I mean, I think sort of Brendan's continuously playing him just to try and play him through, and sort of build his confidence back up. For me, he's had it. Let's be honest, he's had a shocker of a season so far. But I'd say he's been one of our better centre. I think at the time when Maguire left and we were sort of looking at who we're going to bring in, Soyuncu stepped in, and he was a massive player for us. So he's still got it in him. I still believe he's going to play. He's going to play through this bad spell, and he'll come through it, and he'll be the Cags that we know and love. To be honest, he just needs to build his confidence back up, and I'm sure he'll be fine. But again, mate, I think it plays. I think Johnny Evans' injuries and without him playing, I think it does play a massive part in, especially because him and Soyuncu create such a really good understanding. So I think you take things into that into account, and maybe that's having a knock on with how he plays, because he's sort of looked at as, I guess, before Fofana, I guess it were him and Fofana, and he's sort of Soyuncu's he's seen as the sort of veteran centre back for us, and maybe he's having to call the line and stuff, whereas usually he's got Evans to do that for him. So maybe there's just a bit of responsibility on him than maybe you'd like at the minute.
He's like you say, you have this with players. If it was Vardy, we know he goes, periods. Well, look at last season. How many games did he go without scoring? So I do honestly think that he's still the same player inside. He's just got to get that confidence back, and if anybody can bring that out, I think it is Brendan. David, how the devil are you, sir? Thank you very much for joining us. Scott saying here, I think it helps that Vestergaard has a steady head on his shoulders. Pairing him with Soyuncu helps Soyuncu. Brendan said, and it's a bit worrying when he said this, that Soyuncu needs somebody like an Evans next to him, but you should be good enough on your own without having to think, he's good because, it's like Drinkwater's good because Kante's next to him. These players should be good on their own. And Andrew says here, go for Tarkowski next year, tried and tested. See, I wanted Tarkowski before, but he was probably double the price of Vestergaard. And I think once everybody's fit, I think we're all right with the defenders, aren't we, Josh?
I think so, definitely, mate. A fully fit Johnny Evans, James Justin's come back. I think James Justin is, I think as we've seen, Brendan, he has, not rushed players back, but maybe played them maybe too much. Maybe played them too much in games than what ideally we should have done. But it was, I guess it's a case of, needs must. But then you look at, I think Ricardo's a good example. He come back. He weren't great when he come back, but now he's sort of played through it, and he's back to the Ricardo of old. Really, he's definitely found his form again. I think you're right, mate. For me, centre back ain't really a position where I think we need to really strengthen. I think, like you say, when we've got everybody back, and like I say, funny for Johnny Evans, we know James Justin, he can slot in at centre back in a 3. He's done it before. I think we're good. I think we're good at centre back. We're just going through a bit of a sticky spell at the minute. You know, conceding a few silly goals and making a few mistakes. But every team does it. It's just a confidence thing. I'm sure. I'm sure everybody will play through it.
Terry's saying there last night we could have put KDH on instead of Wonderboy Madison. A little bit tongue in cheek, I think you're being there, Terry, with the Wonderboy comment. But yeah, I mean, it was naff. I think had that maybe been Moscow or Warsaw, we may have seen KDH come on. But I think with Napoli, you've got to put these players on. But I tell you what we're going to do now. Let me just see if I can do this. He says, here we go. Remembering what to do. Looking at the players that we have available, let's have a look at who we might go for tomorrow. Now, what formation do you like to play, Josh? What do you think? I know Brendan quite likes the 5 at the back, which is a fluid 3 or 4 sometimes. Which do you prefer?
I do like the 4-1-4-1, but I don't. Is that an option on there? I'm not too sure.
No, I wish they would, because we do play that a lot. 4-1-4-1 isn't. 4-1-2-1-2, no. 3-4-1-2, 4-3-2-1. I think. No.
I'll go for the 4-3-3.
4-3-3, which I think was sort of how we kind of lined up yesterday, wasn't it? Really, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's have a look. So going back in goal, I mean, a possible first start for Japokovic.
Yeah, I'd slot him in. Yeah.
He's got to start earning his money sometime, for God's sake, you know.
It's a strange one. He really. The thing is, I can imagine. You know, we must have offered him so many clubs on loan, and I'm guessing clubs surely have come in for him. Lower league clubs have come in and offered him a loan, but he just seems to be so happy here. It's really weird, to be honest with you. Maybe.
But then again, I suppose, you know, when you think, look at the run we've had on injuries in the defence. If you get that running goal and Schmeichel gets injured, so Danny Ward goes in, you have got Japokovic who can come on. And let's face it, he made the bench above Benkovic the other week, so he might be a closet centre forward. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know. Maybe Brendan's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah. Right. Let's go with the left back then. Who would you put there?
I'd probably go for Ryan Bertrand. You know, I really like.
I agree with you 100% there. I'm a lover of Ryan Bertrand. I think he was probably, and you're going to get fed up with me probably saying this by the end of the season, but I think he could be the buy of our transfer window, because he wasn't a typical Rodgers buy, but it's great because, you know, with James Justin is out, Luke Thomas is young and coming through, and he's got that experience. And on free kicks and corners, he knows how to get the ball past the first man.
Exactly, yeah.
Please take note, Mr. Madison. But do you think, I mean, he's not a youngster. Do you think of an age where he might struggle 2 games so quickly? And is this not a bad one for Luke Thomas? You know, and, you know, if it was a Man City or somebody, but then, you know, Luke Thomas, he's done everything that's been asked of him. But you're going to go for Ryan Bertrand, yeah?
Yeah, I'll go for Ryan Bertrand.
Yes, yeah. Now, on the right, who do you think would fit on the right? Because I don't know if Piera is still not quite 100%.
Ricardo, I mean, if Bertrand won't start left back, I'll put Castagna there, because we know he can do a job there. I'll probably put Castagna right back, because, like you say, I think from what we've heard, Ricardo might not be fully fit, so I'd go for Castagna right back.
Yeah. And again, of an age where, you know, if he does 45 minutes and then maybe Pereira comes on for the second 45, who knows? But so yeah, I would again. He's had a good couple of games when he comes in, even if he does look like one off of Batman and Robin.
On that note, I thought he had I thought Castagno had a really good game last night as well. I thought he played really, really well. He likes to get forward as well and join the attack, which is nice to see. You know, he's supporting the attack as well, defending really well. But yeah, I thought he had a really good game.
Yeah, Scott's gone Bertrand for left back. He did go Pereira for right back, but as I said, I'm not sure on his fitness levels. He was on the bench yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see. But maybe come on, you know, as Roger likes to do when he's bringing players back, bring him on for the last 20 minutes or so. So let's have a look at the centre left back then. I mean, for me, I've got to be totally honest with you, I think there's only one choice there, but are you thinking Amati or are you thinking of somebody else?
You know what? We laugh about Amati, but I genuinely thought when he was playing centre-back, he was playing quite well for us, you know. I wouldn't start him. Like you say, mate, I think you start Cags left centre back purely for the fact that, like you say, he's been moved to right back, and I think maybe that's had a knock-on effect of his game. I put Cags left centre back for me.
Okay, so moving him back there. I might have gone with Scott on this one and put him at right centre back, but yeah, I know it's your picking. So let's go with Kagler, because at some point we know he is going to move back there. And yeah, you were right with Amati. I mean, you know, he had a good game against Man City in the English Super Cup, as I like to call it. But you know, then again, you know, it wasn't the full strength Man City side, and he's had a couple of good games, but like you say, whether he's first choice if others are available, that's the point. So if you're going to put Soyuncu at left centre back, who are you going to put at right centre back?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. It's got to be Vestergaard. It's got to be Vestergaard.
Yeah.
Regardless, ain't it? Really, he's the only choice for us at the minute.
I agree, and even if you have it the other way round, as Scott's gone, I think those two are going to be like, you know, our first choice with the situation that we're in at the moment. So yeah, so that's pretty much as it was last night. So in the centre mid there, who are we going to go for there?
You got to put Ndidi in the centre, obviously, as your CDM. That goes without saying. As a central defensive midfielder, if you know what I mean.
I know totally what you're saying there, and probably up until recently, I wouldn't even have had two thoughts about it. And this isn't anything to do with the sending off, because I think the sending off was bloody stupid, to be honest with you, and just sum that referee up last night. I don't think it was at that point in time. Do you need to issue a yellow card? Not unless you're a power mad, crazy Portuguese referee who's probably been paid lots of money by Lazio. Oh, did I say that out loud? I just don't think last night he was having a brilliant game anyway. He has been giving the ball away a lot. And I'm going to, obviously, as they're going to go with Ndidi because you put in there, but I would be tempted to start Sumare again there. Because I think he had a slow start last night, tended to sort of play sideways a little bit, but got better as he got a bit of confidence and the game went on. But like you say, you know, if we've got a fully fit Ndidi firing on all cylinders, I suppose you've got to go for him. So left of centre, again, I think I know where you might be going here.
It's got to be Yuri Tielemans. It's got to be Yuri. I think, although this season so far he's not been the Tielemans that we know and love. Maybe his head's been turned. I think all the latest comments we've heard that it sounds very much like could be his last season for us. But again, when he's on his game, and he's massive for us, and he's one of the best midfielders I've seen ever play for us in my time supporting Leicester. So you can't drop him, because he could be having a bad game, and then he pulls something amazing out, and before you know it, he's back on form. So he's got to be Yuri for me.
I think the thing with Yuri is his average game is a lot of other players' top game. I think that's what we have to. And in fairness, he chose us when he could have gone. He had other offers when he signed for Leicester after the loan period. So if he goes, I think he will go with the best wishes, and have made us a lot of money, I believe, in the long term. So on the right of those three, then, who are we going for here?
You know what? I genuinely give Dewsbury all a game, to be honest. I don't think Brendan will pick him, but I think it could be a game for him potentially where it could really suit him. I think from what we've seen of him so far, he's looked really good. I think his loan spell at Luton last season was fantastic. Their fans really moved about him. I think
he won a lot of awards there, didn't he?
Yeah, and for me, it's a game where I think he could do really well in. So I'd start him definitely.
Yeah. Just looking here, so on the BBC, it says Leicester City will be without defender Johnny Evans, who was substituted against Napoli with a recurrence of a foot injury. But then again, they also say that Jose Perez serves a one-game ban, and he's actually got 2 games left. So, yeah, he gets a one-game ban in Europe for BBC. I love putting these companies like. But yeah, KDH, brilliant at Luton last season, was winning awards. Looked very good in the pre-season friendlies that he was played. He looked hungry. I can't remember, was it QPR or something when we were behind, and he got a goal, and he went and grabbed the ball to say, right, we can still get this, and that, he's got that enthusiasm. And no disrespect to Brighton, and this is going to sound really bad when I say this, and that's always going to be something when I say that, isn't it? It's going to sound bad, but you know what? I noticed if I could be wrong here, but with Luke Thomas at the start, and I know he was thrown in a bit because of the defensive situations, but with Brighton, you'd sooner ease somebody like KDH in against a Brighton than if we were playing a Chelsea or a Liverpool.
Yeah.
Because, he's young, and yes, he's had the experience. He's played in the Championship for a season, which is, a difficult division. But players that play on confidence, we're all confidence people. If the boss comes on and says you've had a good game and you played well there, it gives. And I think he's got a better chance of doing that against a Brighton than he has against the Chelsea. And I think this is the sort of game, like you said, that might suit him better to come in. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, if you're going to, like you say, if you're going to stick him in, for a game to see how he starts and what his game's all about, I think it's, like I say, for me, it's the ideal situation to give him, maybe 60 minutes, see how he gets on, and then go from there.
Yeah. Brookline, how the devil are you, sir? Welcome along. Thanks for joining us from all the way over there in the good old US of A. And he's picked his whole team here. And Marty and Cags, more speed. Brighton do not have a big striker. Castagna, Thomas, Ndidi, Samari, KDH, Barnes, Nacho, Vardy, Yuri needs some competition. Well, you're not far off what we're going for there, Brookline. But let's go back to that and see where we go with the let's go for the two sort of, I suppose, wingers. I suppose they are really. Who would you go on the left there?
Got to be Harvey Barnes, isn't it? He's I don't think he's had he's been good this season so far. I don't think we've seen the best of him. But again, like his his performance last night, his assist and his goal, he took really, really well. So yeah, it's got to be Harvey Barnes. I think he's pretty much got that sort of left wing side nailed down, to be honest. And I think hopefully we're going to see for many more years to come, because I think he's one of them players where he could potentially, I think the likes of your Man Cities and your United, he's a player that could come in for in the future. So let's enjoy him while.
Well, he signed a new contract. So if we do sell him, we're going to get a good amount for him. And Josh has gone there. Maybe it was his internet again. Josh, hello, sir. Where are you? I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Let's have a look. Josh, you're back. Oh,
hello.
Yeah, you're back. Hang on. That was me then. Hello.
Can you hear me, mate?
Yeah. Cat walked over the keypad, did he? So I was about to finish the team off. I thought, his internet trouble's back again. But okay, so let's. This won't. Hang on a second. Here we go. Let's see. It won't share now. Let me just. There we go. Press the button twice. It always helps. Yeah, I say Barnes not had a good start to the season, but he's coming back from injury. Last night, if he can do that against, like we said before, and I feel like I'm building them up maybe more than this, but if he can do that against Napoli, you would hope that he could tear Brighton a good one, But this will be interesting to see who you go for now on the opposite side to Barnes.
For me, I think
you can't go for Perez. That's the good thing.
Yeah. Me personally, I'd go for Lookman. I'd go for Lookman. I think Brendan will go for all Brighton, though. To be honest, I think the thing is, look, with the Brighton defence, they've got a couple of quick plays, but especially the centre-back's pretty slow. So I think it's a chance where, if we sort of use his pacing, we can sort of get him behind. So I'd go for pace up top, really. Yeah, for me, I'd start Lookman. I think, again, like we do, we could chuck him in. He's not really... He's not really a player who's not Premier League proven. Last season Fulham, he were brilliant. So I'd start Lookman for me, mate. Definitely sticking.
And he's looked good when he came against Man City. He could have had a couple, and he didn't look too bad last night. Like I say, I'm a little bit worried that I don't want to praise him too soon, because I was doing this about under last season. And like I say, by 4 games in, he'd peaked. But let's give him the time, because for whatever reason, and whether it was his attitude at training that Brendan didn't like, didn't get the game time. Let's see what Lookman can bring us, And again, no disrespect to Brighton, let him loose against Brighton and see what he does. Now, this is going to be interesting, because we've obviously now got 3 possible strikers. Do you go for Old Faithful? No disrespect, Jamie. Do you go for the up and coming in Mr. Daka, or are you going to slot the Nacho man in there?
Had Vardy started last night, I'd have picked Iheanacho for Sunday. I'm going to go for Vardy. But having said that, again, I thought Nacho had a really good game last night as well. I think his hold-up play, and he was dropping deep to collect the ball, dragging their players a lot deeper with him. So yeah, it'd have been a case either or for me. Whoever started last night, I'd have started the opposite one for Sunday. But yeah, I'd go with Vardy on Sunday, purely for the fact that Nacho, he played the game last night. I suppose fitness comes into it, but I thought he looked superb last night. I really did. I thought he linked the play up well, and he was creating quite a bit as well. So yeah, really impressed.
Yeah, and I think we've said there, I mean, that's not probably the actual formation, but definitely, you've got to go Schmeichel in goal. So back four, Castagna, Vestergaard, Soyuncu, either or with those positions, maybe swapping. Bertrand, indeed, he is the holding midfielder with Dewsbury Hall, Tillemans aside of him, and then Vardy up front with Lookman and Barnes either side. And you know what? That is a strong team. But I'll tell you what as well. Isn't it great that we're in this position where we're actually thinking, oh God, who would you put in? I mean, it's been a while since we've kind of had that choice.
Yeah, it is. And like you say, especially, I suppose when you put it like that, and you have to pick a team yourself, and you're looking at the players that you are leaving out, it does make you think, God, yeah, we've got the lads that could come in now and do even more of a job for us. Prime example, like to say, with Nacho, I think it'd be unfortunate if he was to get dropped, judging from last night. But like I say, I think, with Vardy, sort of, he only come on, and what did he play last night? Was it 10 minutes, something like that? So he's going to be...
Vardy, I think, was about 8 minutes, including the 5 minutes of injury time.
So I think he's going to be fully fresh for Sunday. So like I say, I think between them, it's a case of whoever started last night, the other one on the Sunday. So it's
definitely. And that's the good thing about having the squad depth, isn't it? Anthony, good evening, sir. How the devil are you, Arsenal fan here? I've done my bets for the weekend. I've got Leicester to win. Well, we might as well pack up and go home now then, Anthony. That's put the kibosh on it. And that is even worse than Mark Lawrenson going for a 1-1 draw. And Scott says here, question for Josh, has the wife put her orders in not having the Tyson look anymore?
I'll be honest with you. I think my hair-wise, I've probably got another few months before it's all receding back. So I think I'm probably going to have to shave that off at some point. But the beard will stay. I'm happy with the beard. Just need to get a bit more bushy, and especially with Christmas.
Be careful, Scott, because he might come round and actually knock on your door and give you the answer with the punch. Yeah, you've got to sort of dye the beard white for Christmas, haven't you? And but
the kids.
I'll tell you what, if I saw you coming down with chimney, I'd be scared. I'll tell you, I'd run out of the house. But hey, we've picked the Leicester lineup. We're going to. Well, we always do this with Craig, and that's one to watch, and we'll have a look at who you've picked for the one to watch straight after this. He says... And that is your one to watch that you've picked. And I'm always a bit wary about this because everyone that Craig's picked has gone on probably to score and play well against us. But Yves Bissouma, who, as you can see there, that's a Brighton podcast YouTube site there, picked him as their August man of the match. So you've picked a good one to pick there, Josh.
Yeah, a very good player. It might come across as a bit obvious to most that watch this show, to be honest with you, because he's been lauded all around the country, to be honest with you. And I think he's a player that's, again, like us with Tielemans, he's probably going to have another season or so at Brighton before one of the bigger clubs coming for him. He's just absolute quality, mate. He's sort of similar sort of remote to Ndidi, but I think he offers a lot more in attack as well as his defending. He's not shy to put his foot in. It'll be a good. Should they both start on Sunday, which I imagine they will do. It'll be a good matchup between them both because they do share similar traits. Again, you hear so many big clubs that are looking at Bissouma. I think he's a player that's slotting really well, and he's been bandied around a lot for them. He's someone like Man United. I think he's a sort of player where his position they need strengthening on really. he'd slot in really, really well there, which would do us a favour, actually, I guess, because then it's another team that don't come in for a player like Wilf, and we get to keep him for a bit, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, they can have the sooner or the one, but no, he's absolute quality, mate. He's a pivotal player for them. Again, I think a lot of their fans sort of look at him as the way we look, like a Wilf or a Tielemans, and think, maybe not too good to play for them. But again, he's a player that's got a massive future ahead of him, and you can see him at, like I say, one of the so-called bigger teams, so to speak. And when they've got the money to pay for him, he's a player that he's going to need eventually. So, but yeah, he's quality. We definitely watch out for him on Sunday, because he'll break up the play and he'll make life really difficult for us.
Brilliant. Thanks so much for that. I did this against Man City, as we always do, end with score predictions, and it was a bit scary with the Man City one because it didn't make good reading at all. But looking at and this, whoever this at the mini league, and don't forget, if you are on the longball.net, you've still got time to join. You can still join in our league on the longball.net. It's organised by Ian Marshall, and he's top of the league. Who knew, eh? Who knew? But somebody not a million miles away is second. So, but this is just a bit of fun with some X-Foxes on the website, where we try and pick the scores. Tags is top at the moment, but myself, Steve Walsh and Tags have all gone for a 2-1 win to Leicester. Marsh has gone 1-1. Ian Wilson's gone for double that as a 2-2. And Steve Lynix thinks that Brighton will actually beat us. But then he did come bottom last season, and I think that's probably his gameplay. So Josh, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to go 2-2. I think it'd be a draw. I really do.
Really.
I don't like to say we're going to lose. I think it's a game that we could potentially struggle in. Yeah, I'm going to go for 2-2. I think it's a game where there's going to be plenty of goals and plenty of chances. So, and to be honest with you, I think a point away to them won't really be a bad point. Especially, like I say, the way we've been playing lately, it's not been great. It's been decent in patches, but for me, I just really like a good performance on Sunday, and an overall a good 90 minutes would be a massive positive for me.
I'm going to end with, and I did say I was going to end with that, but I just remember something I wanted to talk to you about, is that it's bad to say when we played 2 and lost 2, it's not been a good start for us, because we've obviously won 2 as well. And I think, if you're in Arsenal, that's not having a good start to the season. But last season, at this point, we were probably in the top 4. And we were there, we know, sort of apart from the week at County, which was the last week. But maybe coming from behind might actually suit us better, because we've always been in that thing where we've been in the top 4. Nobody expects us to stay there. And we're like, hanging on with our fingertips, not wanting to fall over the cliff edge sort of thing. So maybe sort of bubbling under for most of the season, a bit like Liverpool last season, and then coming good at the end. It might be one of those seasons.
Maybe, yeah, like you say, it could be a good thing for us, rather than sort of looking over his shoulder every week with the actual, with a team that's chasing and pushing for maybe, the top 4, the top 6. I don't think it's going to be that sort of season for us, unfortunately. I think we're going to be up there. I think top 4, and as I've said before, I think that's top 4 sort of, it's written and done for me. I think the way that your likes of United, Chelsea's, Man City's, the money they've spent, it's hard to keep up with them now. So, but yeah, I think, like you say, I think hopefully it's going to be a season where we're sort of looking up rather than looking behind the shoulders and being worried about who can catch us, to be honest. So, hopefully it's going to be one of them seasons anyway. Yeah.
Terry Fuller, good evening. First of all, say good evening, Brookline. How the devil are you, sir? Thanks for again coming back to us. We need to Brendan to buy the team a peach if they produce a clean sheet. As long as I get invited, I don't mind. Terry, I'm a bit frightened about this one. Case all backed. bucket and spade. Mankini, no. We'll look around for a good pair of flip-flops when I get on the beach there. Where are you heading off to, Terry? Where are you heading off for? And please, do whatever you say, do not come back and say Clacton. Because I don't think this country is ready for you in your Mankini. And David S., good evening, sir. 2-0 Leicester. If we can't beat Brighton at this stage after 5 games, then I fear for us, we should be confident of beating the Brighton now and maybe consider games versus top 4 possible struggles. David, 100% agree with you. This is a game we should win. And if we don't, then, yeah, maybe I will start to get worried as well. Josh, mate, thank you. It's lovely to have you back. Thank your wife for letting you out. And, that was when your internet went down. She unplugged you, did she? Right, dinner's ready. Unplugged you. But no, it's great to have you back, mate. And hopefully we'll get you on, obviously, for some more shows and definitely for the Warsaw games that are coming up. Take care, bud. All the best. Stay safe.
Cheers, bud.
Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks to Josh there. It's been a while. Nice to have him back. Mike Tyson next to, I suppose, my big daddy. And I'm not referring to the a reference to the wrestling or to any part of my, part of my body, the old stomach there. Scott, yeah, great. Josh, good to have him back. So it's Brighton to Sunday at 2:00. Got a day off tomorrow. You can go shopping with the missus, Josh. There you go. It's a busy month for us this month. We've got Brighton on Sunday. We've got Millwall away on Wednesday, and we do know Millwall away in the Cup. It was only 3 or 4 years ago. Do you remember it? Burnley. I'll have the North. We got the Burnley coming up on the 25th, and then we are off on a European tour to Legia Warsaw over there in Poland. So it's a busy month of September. Thanks very much for joining us, guys. We're going to be back. Well, I'm going to go off and get ready, have a quick rub down with the Daily Mail, and get ready for, I'm doing a podcast at about 9 o'clock for the Brighton channel, and I watch a bit of football before then. But we will be back. You can tune in to us at, if you want to watch this again, obviously on YouTube. But if you prefer to listen rather than watch, we are all over the podcast platforms. Amazon, Spotify, Apple iTunes, the old googly, Podcast Addict and Anchor, to name but 6. Just search Leicester Till I Die or ask your podcast, your smart speaker to play Leicester Till I Die podcast. I hope Brad is not worrying too much about this game. It was 1-0. Don't know if it still is. But we've got some, big games coming up. We're coming up again on Sunday. It will be about 5 o'clock post-match. Me, Brad, possibly Julian as well joining us. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys. Been a pleasure having you. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and I hope to see you on Sunday. And if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't done yet, please subscribe. And if you are in a generous mood, please click the donate button at the bottom, the little dollar sign, and all contributions help make the channel what it is. Thanks very much, guys. All the best now. Take care. Have a good Saturday.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all them social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.